Hello and welcome to Railway World, and in this programme we're on the famous Romney Hythe and Dymchurch Railway, which runs across the wide open spaces of the Romney Marshes and finishes here on the shingle of Dungeness. As always, we've got an action-packed programme for you, and here's what's coming up. Okay, before we get on with the show, let me just point out, before anyone writes in, that there are no trains running on this section of track at the moment, all right? The Romney Hythe and Dymchurch Railway was built by a couple of flamboyant racing car drivers in 1927. One of them was Captain Howie, who loved his little locos and was a big fan of Sir Arthur Hayward, who was the top dog in the miniature railway world at that time. The other was Count Louis Zabrowski, also an engineer, who in fact built 3 aero-engined cars called Chitty Bang Bangs. Actually, as a bit of an aside to this story, Ian Fleming, the James Bond author, was so inspired by the cars that he wrote a children's novel, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I, like so many other innocents I presume, have always thought that the name Chitty Chitty Bang Bang came from the sound that the cars made. At least that's what they said in the film. But it's not true. In fact, the name comes from a rather bawdy song that was written during the First World War about officers in France who would be given chits to go to Paris and perhaps meet certain young women. I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions as to where the bang bang comes in. Anyway, these couple of speed freaks were so rich that they built their locomotives first before they'd actually found a place to run them on. They looked at the Ravenglass and Eskdale line up in Cumbria, but of course that was already well established before they settled on this place, the Marshes in Romney.
Some say, and there's lots of folklore about this, it was because Sir Herbert Walker, the then Southern Railway General Manager, the main line railway, needed to keep the locals off his back from why wasn't he building a standard gauge line across the marsh. His view, no real traffic, and so if he could encourage someone like these millionaire enthusiasts, and I guess they thought of them as eccentrics at the time, then he could get they could do the work for him and link his station at New Romney with his station at Hythe with something that would at least carry a creditable number of people, a bit of freight, and would be absolutely good fun. Then Zabrowski is killed in a motor racing accident, a sort of fact of life type situation. The way I look at that was that at that point, Captain Howie, who might have thought, well, this is a bit of a fun thing to do, we've got some money, then set his heart that he was going to finish that task. I think we all go through that sometimes in life, and we say, we've lost someone or something's changed in our life, that's what I'm going to do. And I like the story, and whether it's a true one or it's just how it's told today, that's what convinced Howie he would concentrate for the rest of his life on this railway. And he happened to come across, Zabrowski and him had a guy called Henry Greenley, who was a very clever engineer for his day, but who was specialising at that time in this gauge of railway. And of course the brains behind the engineering was Greenley's. So those three are the history that make this line, and ended up being a cheap bit of land, a flat bit of land. They could go quite fast, there wasn't too many people to upset. But there was a bit of traffic to be had between the main towns, and within 3 years it was engines built, track laid, ready to go.
One of the attractions here at New Romney Station is the model railway, which took 5 years to build and opened in 1978. Very nice it is too. Now then, if you were the organiser of a model railway exhibition and you had the chance to advertise it on the telly, what would be the one thing that you'd put in your commercial? A model railway perhaps?
Don't miss the Model Railway exhibition at the Camberwell Civic Centre this long weekend. It's open Friday and Saturday from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. and on Sunday and Monday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. There are working models, commercial stands, books and much more, and there's ample free parking. Admission is just $4 for adults and $2 for children and pensioners, or $10 per family. Experience the wonderful world of model railways at the Camberwell Civic Centre this long weekend.
Oh dear, well, I don't think we're talking high production values there, but don't worry, not everything that comes out of Australia is bad. For example, Jonathan Newton comes from Melbourne, and he's arriving on this channel soon with his take on the railway world.
Welcome to Railway World, the only show where you will see the world spinning backwards. It's amazing what a bit of money can do, hey? A maglev high-speed train in Shanghai. Sunshine, lollipops, rainbows and railways, just a handful of things that happen to me on a regular basis. Enjoying Railway World that he watches every week. And oh, by the way, Jonathan, you're looking a bit fat in the face. I left my heart in San Francisco. I left my knees in old Peru. Birdie num num, birdie num num. I do not see what was so funny about that last clip. Well, I hope we all got something good out of that. Personally, it does nothing for me, but then again, I've heard there's pills for that. Still, variety is the spice of life, just like a hot curry. Well, I thought it was funny. Well, let's open the bottle of vodka, put on our lovely, warm, thick clothing. We're off to Mother Russia. Oh, this has made my day, it has. Oh, I've got to get out more.
Young, good-looking and extremely funny. That's how I've always seen myself. Oh, and that was Jonathan Newton there, who's coming up on this channel soon. Now then, let's plunder the vivid imagination of Paul Sherwood, who for some time now has been charting the progress of the Myresford and Nant-Gorris Railway. Recently he discovered a vintage bit of footage from 1948 in fact, which he's lovingly restored and now brought to our attention. What's this button do? Whoa, didn't touch it, not me, no. Lovely footage there from Paul Sherwood, and you can see the rest of that film and all his other films on his site, the link to which I have put on the page. Is that really broken, David?
Yeah.
You're watching Railway World. I'm really sorry. I'll pay for anything that I've